yesterday when I learned. But yeah, let's talk a little bit about Iwata. So, Iwata, you know, it's funny because similar to Michael Jackson, you guys know when we found out he died, you know, prior to that, people were roasting the hell out of Michael. Like, everything about him was wrong. Like, the fact that his skin color was changed, you know, that just the way he looked, what he was doing, quote unquote, things like that, you know, those fake charges. You know, a lot of, you know, society was really like draining him. And I know he was getting drained because it was always something about something he did. All eyes were always on him. Like a slip up, and that's it. It's all over the internet. And so, you know, when he died, you get the opposite reaction. People praise him. Oh, he was a legend. He was the best. Oh my God, I miss him. But what happened to that kind of love and support when he was alive? It wasn't there. And so with Iwata's death, you look at that and you see that, you know, while he was alive, we loved Iwata, obviously. Like, we liked him. We saw him. He did our directs. We made memes of him. He was a cool guy. But it takes a person to die for everybody to really realize how much that person actually meant to them and how much that they loved that person. It's like an affection that you can't show while they're alive. So when he died, you know, you see everything that's going on today. All these videos, these pictures, these statuses, things like that. And it is actually very sad. And I honestly wanted to cry. I'm not gonna lie. But, you know, as the president of Nintendo, like, he was having a hard time. I can tell you that because I saw, like, once that he said he was gonna cut his, you know, pay in half because the Wii U and just, they weren't doing so well. And, you know, I won't understand how they weren't doing well because to me, Nintendo makes bank. Like, it's Nintendo. But, you know, I'm pretty sure in the grand scheme of things, they were actually struggling. And he, as the president of Nintendo, actually offered to cut his salary in half to make up for the losses. I don't know too many CEOs or anybody that would do that for their company. Like, money's important, realistically. And for him to do that just shows how much of, you know, a man he was to not only, you know, his love for gaming, but to his company that he owned. And honestly, man, like, I didn't even know some of the things that he did prior to his death. Like, I didn't know that Earthbound wouldn't have existed if it wasn't for him. I didn't know that he stayed up weeks doing something that probably wasn't even his job, you know, debugging Melee to make sure that the game came out on time. We wouldn't have one of the, you know, most classic Smash titles in the history of Smash Brothers if it wasn't for him. And you know what? Without Melee, we wouldn't have the other ones to come. Without 64, we wouldn't have Melee. You know, everything links to each other. And he did something else too, and I'm forgetting. But all in all, like, Iwata wasn't just a president. That man actually put himself out there to make sure that Nintendo was always on the frontier of success. He wanted to make sure that, you know, gaming was about having fun. What gaming should be. Remember when Microsoft had that press conference, their first one displaying the Xbox One? They didn't even show games. They just showed, oh, we have like this new thing and this new thing that's gonna make the Xbox cool, and we can do this, and you can watch TV on your Xbox. It's like, where the game's at? And you know, they got destroyed for that because they tried to do that. They got absolutely destroyed for trying to do that. And so, no, that's not Nintendo. He stuck true to what Nintendo was about, and it's always about having fun. You cannot have a console be successful without having the games that make the people want to play it. And I appreciate him doing that so much. I see that you guys say in the chat that he compressed the Pokemon Gold and Silver to make sure Kanto can fit in that. Pokemon Crystal is my favorite Pokemon game of all time. I will play that game to the end of my life. The simple fact that he put Kanto in there, and it was just like a blast from the past. You know, we beat Red and Blue, then we go to Gold and Silver, and we can go back to Kanto, and you can see either things have changed or things are the same. It's like, that made that game legendary to me as a Pokemon fan. Like, that was amazing. And to know that he did that, I can never thank him enough. I can't even thank him now. But that's amazing. And the simple fact that he made Earthbound, guys, my stream revolves around Mother. That is the whole premise of this. Like, I would not have to. I wouldn't be able to play Ness if it wasn't for him. Ness would cease to exist probably. What would we be? What would we be? Fox Boys? I don't know what we'd be, but it's because of him that I get to play one of my favorite characters, and I got to play one of my favorite games of all time. Like, you know, Nintendo collectively as a whole, our childhoods would be drastically different without Nintendo, honestly. Because they make the games that we play still to this day. Even though, you know, you'll get ridiculed by other, you know, gaming areas, such as, you know, like the hardcore gamers, like Gears, things like that. And not all of them, but, you know, you have those people that think Nintendo is just for kids. You have parents, especially growing up with our generation as kids, that think games are a waste of time. All you do is play games. You know, you got in trouble if you played too much games. Some people did, at least. You weren't allowed to play games because school was priority, of course. Just things like that, our parents never understood. My mom still doesn't fully understand what I do today. Like, with the whole professional gaming and Smash, she doesn't understand this. She doesn't understand streaming. My grandfather doesn't think this is, like, something, you know, reliable. But why does that matter? Because at the end of the day, when we were kids, we just played Nintendo because we loved games. We loved these games. These games were escapes for some people. These games were new worlds for some people. They were alternate stories. They were just like, they were life. They were a part of life. They were a part of my life as a kid, forever. I will never lose that part of me. For as long as I live, I will always play games. I can imagine myself as an old man, still playing some games. I can imagine myself as a parent, kicking my child's ass in Smash Brothers, and being like, yeah. Yeah, actually money match me for your allowance. Like, things like that. Those thoughts would never come to my mind if it wasn't for Nintendo. I wouldn't have a childhood if it wasn't for Nintendo. Or at least a fun childhood. And, you know, Iwata was the president. He made it all happen. As well as Sakurai and everybody else, of course. They all made it happen too. But collectively, Nintendo is just amazing. And that's why I'll play their games forever. I'll play games forever. Don't get me wrong. I like Sony, I like Microsoft, but Nintendo, that's where my heart will always lie. I wouldn't know any of you in this chat if it wasn't for Smash Brothers. Who made that? Nintendo. My crew that I live with, I wouldn't have met any of them if it wasn't for Nintendo. These people that I know in the community, I wouldn't know. I wouldn't know any of them. My life outside of high school would have been so normal and bland, it would suck. But Nintendo made Smash Brothers, so it gave me something that made me, you know, more unique, made me happier, made me more active. Like, Smash definitely kind of, you know, defined me as a person. People still, they know me, like, oh, yo, we have a professional gamer in our school, or even in college, like, you know, there are people that know me for Smash, not for Tyrell. There are a lot of people that don't know me for Tyrell, but know me for Smash. Like, you know, I have two personalities, you could say. But none of this would be possible if it wasn't for Smash, honestly. So I really want to thank Nintendo, especially Iwata, for, like, everything that they've done. Literally everything. We can complain about not getting a new Metroid game, or how their E3 sucked this year, but at the end of the day, what is there to complain about when we have this? When we have what we have been playing over all these years? Like, there's nothing to complain about. If anything, we should be grateful. And so, thanks, Nintendo. And Iwata, of course. And rest in peace, man. Like, I don't know your religion, I don't know what you believe in, but it doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, wherever he may be, I do hope he's in a better place. That's what we all should hope. And it takes someone to die to really appreciate just everything they've done, or how much you actually cared about them. Because personally, when I saw Iwata, I just thought he was a cool dude. He's the president of Nintendo. He makes, you know, awesome directs. You know, he talks. He's just cool guy. But then when he died, and I see everything he's done, and everything, you know, just how important he actually was, it's like, shit, man. I just wish I had more time to show that I really cared. It sucks. And then it made me think, you know, What if somebody big in Smash were to just disappear, like, the next day? Because, you know, it was a normal day for us. We didn't know the president of Nintendo was going to die. What if that just happens? It could happen to me. It could happen to anybody. They won't know how we actually felt because they're gone, but how do you'll never know. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. No! This nest is broken! He didn't purposely block that either. He's getting a little too comfortable. I don't like this mess. Had her up. Yeah, get out of here. This amiibo is not sunning me. This amiibo is my son. That's death. I'm trying to pop off. Gotti. He's down tilted me. Would PK Fire be better if I had the same angle in the air? You know something? That's really situational, so I don't think it would be worse or better. Like, either angle it gets shot at, you know, one's not better than the other in my opinion. What should you say to your parent? I'll make a video on that, Lundar, but honestly, dude, you just they don't get it. Like, no matter how much you try to explain it, some parents might understand it, or they'll finally realize, you know, maybe they're being silly, but, you know, gaming just has this stigma where it's a waste of time, you can't make a profession out of it, you can't do anything with it, why are you doing that, blah blah blah, yet they watch TV all the time. So, you can't even, like, you just gotta try to show him, visibly show him why gaming is not a bad thing. Show him what people have gotten out of gaming. Explain to him that you just enjoy the stories, you enjoy being able to interact with something that's not just sitting on your ass and watching a football game. Don't say that, though. Don't say that. But there's more interaction, there's more to learn from playing games, in my honest opinion, with a bunch of bias as well. But I do feel like I'm right.